What up, y'all? It's Metaphor, back for more to keep the raw, represent everyone's you and not verse. Alright, so we're going to do a video on the concept of Mercury alignments, right? And why Mercury alignments have a constant thought and communication style going on through their head. And it's like always going to be, if they're not communicating, they're going to be thinking. So for the Gemini, it's going to be an outward communication style, and it'll be enacted through the body language. So the quickness and the tact of the Gemini is really like based on their air alignment, right? And being mutable and being able to adapt to whatever air is being flown. So whatever communication, whatever thought is being, enacted, then that Gemini can adapt to that, right? And with that being said, the Virgo is also this way. So the Virgo will put it into a detailed manner. So, right, how to harness these two things is for the Virgo, right? Whenever you utilize those details and those, the critique, right? And those things like that, it's going to be an operation of you want to have multiple things going on within that list at one time. So while they're doing one thing, they're going to be having a thought about the next action, right? In the previous action as well, and how they did this previously that they're doing currently, right? So with the Virgo and the Gemini, they both have this thing going on. Whenever they communicate or wherever they think, they always have a thought in the back of their mind as well, right? So with that being said, how to harness this is complete that task that's currently on your mind, right? So if you don't completely complete the current task that's on the mind at that time, then you'll have that scattered, thoughts being scattered, right? So you'll be doing one thought and not completed to the fullest, right? And with that being said, you're not completing that current action and current thought to the fullest, then with that being said, it'll mess up other things, you see what I'm saying? So just a quick little video for y'all, you know what I'm saying? So like how to harness this is just complete that current action. So if you don't complete that current action completely, then you might have a scattered thought about what you're currently doing, and you might not do it to the fullest potential that you could have done it. You see what I'm saying? So like your speculation is real good, and these two signs speculate real good. But sometimes they speculate too much, you see what I'm saying? So like with their speculation upon what they're currently doing, sometimes they may do may do an operation kind of slower if they weren't talking. You see what I'm saying? If they weren't communicating. So really the key to this is like, if you're doing an important action, don't communicate so much, Gemini and Virgo. Have that thought going on in your head and just keep that thought, keep the current thought that you want to, finish and accumulate. You see what I'm saying? And this can go over years, you see what I'm saying, and months, but it can also go second to second and minute to minute and day to day. You see what I'm saying? And hour to hour, house to house in astrology terms. So with that being said, it's just like you got to have a current goal in mind. Whenever you complete that current goal, then you ain't gonna have an issue with anything going forward. You feel what I'm saying? So that Gemini and that Virgo can't, be too worried about these other things going on around them. You see what I'm saying? So like for me personally, that Sagittarius just like expel any of those extra Gemini thoughts. You see what I'm saying? So like I also have the Virgo in my chart. You see what I'm saying? So anywhere that you have these two signs, Gemini or Virgo, you're going to be dealing with this. So you're going to be having a thought with your other thought. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, the Gemini and the Virgo got to work it out to an aspect of, completing a current task before moving on to the next task. You feel what I'm saying? So if you have an issue going on with the current task that you're trying to complete, then with that being said, you need to complete that task. So if you don't complete that task, then that task might not be done to the fullest potential. So like this video, based on me doing other things in my day, is going to be affected based on, me not completing it all the way if I didn't. You see what I'm saying? But I got all the message across to the point that really the key with this is that the Gemini need to, not communicate so much, not talk so much while they're doing an operation, right? And the Virgo need to not critique other people and talk about other people and talk to other people about other people while they're doing their current operation, right? So don't be worried about other details while you're, in the current detail that you want to complete. You see what I'm saying? So like that's the Virgo aspect. And then like I say with the Gemini aspect, it's all about not communicating to other people and not having another thought allow it to block your current operation, right? So that's the key with that. So anywhere you got these two signs, Mercury being in Virgo or Gemini, first of all, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have that highest potential to deal with that, right? But then if you have it anywhere else in the chart, for me, for an example, I have the Gemini being a Mercury sign in the moon, right? And then also the Virgo being on my Mars. So with all that being said, for me personally, it's going to be my passions for my Virgo, right? And then for my moon, it's going to be my emotions. So my thought pattern is more emotional, you know what I'm saying, than it actually is compared to other signs. So like the thoughts that I think about, that's what can actually, you know, by bringing a line of a conclusion to a point, that's what can actually affect my emotions, right? And then with my Virgo being in my Mars, my passions, if I don't complete a certain detail before moving on to the next detail, then that certain thing that I'm passionate about won't be completed to the fullest potential, right? So for me, for an example, if I'm talking about the long term, like years and things like that, and talking about decades, my thing is to be monetized on this thing, you know what I'm saying, and end up, you know what I'm saying, working for myself and all that. So that current operation is being, you know, affected based on, you know, just having to work through everyday passions and the current details that I'm dealing with right now. So the secondary details that I'm dealing with to, you know, accumulate a new thing is, you know, affecting those new things that I want to accumulate. So if one doesn't complete that current task, you know, and if I were to be like, oh man, F this YouTube stuff, you know what I'm saying, and it's not going to work out this, then, the third, and not complete that detail, then, you know what I'm saying, it would mess up my current thing, you know what I'm saying, that I got going on. Because, like, if you allow that to scatter, if you allow yourself to scatter, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, I should just do something completely new, you know what I'm saying, a whole new thought. That's where these Mercury signs have trouble. So, what the key to this is just stick to the current task and complete it before moving on to the next for the Virgo. And then for the Geminis, don't talk about the task before you've completed the task. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about it if you ain't lived it. Shout out to the Jupiter sign, Jay-Z. And, you know what I'm saying? That for me personally, like, just to put myself up there, that's one thing that, like, about my chart that, like, regulates me. Is the Sagittarius. Like, I have the Sagittarius Mercury that regulates that moon in Gemini. So, yeah. So, the main thing for the Gemini energy is just don't, like, communicate about what you got going on. So, for example, even if it was on your Jupiter, don't communicate about what you know until you, like, it's solidified and what you know is actually working out for you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had to leave out from the spot I was at just to scope it out real fast. You dig what I'm saying? Make sure it's all clear. You know what I'm saying? Move on to the next little task. Everybody be living in different environments, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be adapt to your environment, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I was looking around earlier in the video, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be easy with where you at and know where you at, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I have a current task in my mind. I was going to sit there and just chill out and do the video, you know what I'm saying? I had something else come up. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about that little thing. I speculated a little bit. I was like, hey, that little detail, you know what I'm saying, that I seen, I might have to move on to the next little task. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm still going to complete the current task that I'm going with, you know what I'm saying, where I'm driving to. I'm still going to complete that before I can't complete that task to the fullest potential. And then I also made this video, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. So it's like, that's that little square for me, where between my passions and my moon. So, like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want to feel comfortable and just kind of, like, you know, think to myself, that Gemini energy. But the thing about it is, like, the detail, my Mars, be like, hey, you know, I got to critique upon the way that we're being passionate, you know what I'm saying, the way that we're intending to be. So, like, at times, the way the Gemini energy is intending to be is just like, hey, let's just relax kind of thing. And the Sag get real upset, you know what I'm saying? The Sag is like, hey, you know what I'm saying, we just need to go out and explore, you know what I'm saying, no matter how tired we are, just let's go be the hunter, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, that's a little bit intro to astrology if y'all ain't into it, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know what I'm saying, this is how to harness it as well. So, like, the main thing how to harness it is just complete the current task before moving on to the next task. So much love and holler back at me. And for any kind of astrology question, you can hit me at CONSC CONSCIOUS1347 and for the slow ones is CONSCIOUS1347 @gmail.com. Much love and holla back.